Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for watching or listening in or however it is that you are joining me this week. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you've got two of me here. Although I'm wearing red lipstick in that one, so you know. It's different. So any of you listening, I have my computer behind me, which is has the picture for my upcoming online foundation. So depending when you're listening to this, I have an online foundation December 27th to the 31st of 2020. Oh my gosh, my sweet friends, we are going to be finishing up the year soon. And I was like, what better way to finish 2020 in this sense is to go into foundation, which then you can go and create your future the way you desire it to be, which is what today's show is all about. It's all about future. Are you creating the future you desire? Yeah, there's actually a whole section in the foundation manual about future. And what I wanted to read was just a very short couple of sentences that Gary and Dane have in here. If you are not creating tomorrow today, what you come up against is nothing you like. If you want a better life, choose today what will create a better life tomorrow. And so there's a few parts and pieces with that. And one of them was this a year ago, actually, in Australia, back when I could travel to Australia with ease. We were there for the mutant class. I took a mutant class with Gary and Dane. Wow, now I'm confusing all the names. Gary, Dane, Simone, and Brendan from Access Consciousness, and then the certified facilitator training also. And something that has stayed with me this entire year was something that Gary said. He said, the choices you made 10 years ago is what you are experiencing right now. Yeah, and for me, that felt really light. That felt really true. So if that doesn't for you, that's totally fine. But for me, I was like, wow, that really, yeah, like that, yes, that matches. And so it's like, wow. Now, it doesn't have to take that long, of course, and making choices today will change your tomorrow and your next month and your next year and for years to come. And then this weekend I was driving, and when I drive for a long period of time, usually when I've been to see my family in Saskatchewan and I'm by myself, I listen to all sorts of audios, and I was listening to Dane talk about this exact thing, and that's what he was saying was like, what you're choosing now really will start to show up in weeks and months and years to come. And I was looking at my own life, and especially this year, so many of you know that I've been really communing with my body and changing things and just making really different choices this year, actually since January 6th of 2020. So it's been almost, well, by the time this airs, it will have been 11 months of making choices, different choices, very different choices. And I've done different radio shows on it also. And so it's like this energy of like, yeah. Now, on January 6th of 2020, when I chose to, I'm doing intermittent fasting. When I made that choice, it didn't start to really actualize for a couple of weeks. Like, yes, the choices were different, but what I was choosing towards and what my body was asking for, that didn't start to actualize for, a week, maybe two. And then it's been, I'm going to say gradual. No, really, that's probably an understatement because it hasn't been gradual. And it wasn't overnight. I didn't wake up at this point. I think I'm about 65 pounds lighter than I was when I started. And so I didn't wake up the next morning 65 pounds lighter. It's been choice, action, choice, action, choice, action, choice, you get it. And so really looking at that in terms of like, what are the choices that you're making today that aren't creating the future you desire? And what's it going to take to change those choices? What's it going to take to make a different choice? Yeah. And for me personally, I would say probably the majority of people that I work with, you're ready when you're ready. So 3 months earlier from January 6th, so let's say last fall, I wasn't ready to make those choices. How do I know? Because I didn't make those choices 3 months earlier. I didn't start until January 6th. And so it's also that. It's also really recognizing that and being honest with yourself about that, because if you're not ready, or if you're going to have to use a lot of force or struggle or judgment or unkindness to you to make the choice that you know you would like to make, maybe there's another way, or maybe it's not actually your choice. And what I mean by that is, one of the tools we talk about in the bars class, the Access Consciousness bars class, which is right at the kind of one of the first classes you take, is who does this belong to? So we can have not only people's crazy in our world, we can also be aware of their desires and of their wishes, and we can then make it ours and go, oh, I would really like to change my body, which I said for many years, and not actually have it be mine. It wasn't until this year when it was actually my desire that I was able to, with ease, take consistent action and make different choices. And even, 11 months later, I'm so grateful, and it is so easy. And when I look at all the different times in my life that I have tried, notice, to change my body based on that desire of being somebody else's, oh my gosh, it was force, and it was struggle, and it was upset, and it was fight, and it wasn't ease. It wasn't ease at all. And it's not even that it has to be about changing your body. You just want to look at, what are the things? What are the choices? What is the future you would like to have? Yeah. I know for me, one of the things, it took me years, I'm going to say, to get to this point, was, to live on the planet, to live on the earth with no judgment, no abuse, no unkindness, just total ease, joy, and glory, and everything was ease, joy, and glory. Like I have this energy of what that would be like now, and I never had that before. And that probably, like I say, I've been studying the tools from Access Consciousness since 2011. I've been studying all sorts of other tools and modalities since 2002. And it took me probably up until, it was probably 2016 before I really got the energy that was possible. Whereas before I would have told you that's not possible. Like it's a dream, it's a wish, it's a hope, but it's not actually reality. And now I'm aware it's a possibility. And I also would say the difference for me when I look at the future I would like is, I don't need anybody else to have that with me. Whereas before it was always looking at kind of like, will everybody choose it? Will everybody on the planet choose it with me? And if not, then it's impossible. And now it's like, no, I get to choose it for me. I get to be the bulldozer that I actually am, that I've pretended for so many years I'm not. I get to be that bulldozer and be like, no, I'm having this. I'm having this. And the people who aren't can fuck right off. And I mean that totally and completely, and it's just this energy of like, what would you like? And are you willing to be the most dominant energy in your world to choose it and to actualize it? Yeah. And what if everything was possible? So whatever yours might be, if you look at, maybe dreaming big for 2021 or, farther, maybe in the next 5 years, whatever you would like it to be. What is that for you? And you don't have to have words, guys. Okay, this is such a big piece. You do not have to have words. It's an energy. And so you can really allow yourself to have that energy of what it is without the specifics of it needs to look like this and it has to be like this and it's got to be this, because it doesn't have to be at all. Yeah, it's the energy of it. And so the question that we often ask to get you into the sense of that is, what is the future that you would like it, wow. What would you like your future to be like? So not what would you like your future to look like, not anything like that. It's always to be like, because when we ask the be question, it's expansive and it'll tap you into that energy. If you ask, what would I like my future to look like? You're actually limiting what's possible, because of course the word look makes you go into your head, into your, like you're trying to get a visual of it, trying to figure it out. So what would you like your future to be like? Yeah. And you know what? Even if every day when you brush your teeth, something you do every day, even if when you do that thing, if you take a few minutes at that time while you're doing the thing, you can multitask and just be with that. What would I like my future to be like? What would I like my future to be like? What would I like my future to be like? And just play with it. The more you be it, that energy, even without the specifics, that's the energy of what we call generation in Access Consciousness. Yeah. Generation, creation, and institution. So generation is the energy of what you would like to be creating in the world. And creation is the steps to create it. And then institution is what's required to maintain it. So if you were looking at starting a business, the generation energy is getting a sense of what the business is. The creation is maybe getting the web page set up and getting your credit card processor booked or whatever. And then the institution is then updating the web page when needed, checking in with your bank account to, that the deposits are made from your credit card processor. Like there's these three energies that are required, and generation is a huge piece that most people won't actually do because it's not a doing. I know, right? So generation is an energy. And I actually recently did a call on this, and I called it lazy or generating magic. So we'll have a link somewhere that you can go and check that out if you would like the recordings, because it's awesome, so awesome. And it's such a huge part of how we can be the magic we be. Like if you're actually willing to be the energy of what you would like on the planet, whether you're talking about future or money or body or something right now or whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you're willing to be that energy, that's the generating of it. And then the creation will come. You'll just start to get a sense of, I need to find somebody who creates web pages, and I need to do the next step. And you'll just start to become aware of them. Just don't forget the generation. The generating energy, it's the beingness of it. So what would you like your future to be like? Yeah. And then of course the question, what can I be and do different today to actualize that right away? What can I be and do different today to actualize that right away? Remember, when we're talking about this, the choices you're making today are actualizing that future down the road. Now, it might be tomorrow, it might be next week, and it might be next month. It might not be for 10 years. But get a sense, at least for me, this is what really intrigued me, was the choices today. So let's say, again, like Gary said, 10 years ago, I wasn't even familiar with Access Consciousness. And yet I was making choices that had me at a class in Australia 10 years later. And it's not linear, right? Like, so I didn't have to even know access consciousness existed to choose towards that possibility. It was really more the energy of what would I like my life to be like? And I wasn't using those terms that many years ago, believe me, but I was doing lots of other modalities. I was doing a lot of creating what I would like and choosing and asking. So there was that for sure. And in that ask and in those choices led me to access consciousness and the tools, the freaking magical tools that change anything, that then got me to the next step and the next step and the next step. I mean, on and on and on to 10 years later being in Australia in classes that were contributing to 10 more years down the road. Yeah. So I know for some people that might feel too big, that might feel too much, that might feel too scary. Please just look at this as, you know what? Go backwards. Look today, 10 years ago. What choices were you making then to have you where you are today? So if there's areas where you don't really like where you're at today, it's not about going back and judging you. It is, though, about having the awareness. It is about going, wow, okay, I see that choice. That's an interesting choice I made there. Okay, cool. How's it get any better than that? Now what choices can I make? What can I be and do different today to create the future I desire? And it doesn't even, like I say, it doesn't have to be 10 years ago. It could be a choice you made earlier this year, or choices or whatever. And any area of your life that isn't the way you would like it to be, make a different choice. And you don't have to know what that choice is, right? We go back to question, what can I be and do different today and you could change it with that could change this right away. So you can change the ending, you can mix it, match it, but ultimately the question is, what can I be and do different today? So you're acknowledging that what you're choosing today, what you're being today, is going to actualize that, actualize your future. So if you know that, I don't know, let's say getting all of your credit cards consolidated and then, cutting them up and having no option to use them. If you know that that's something today that will create your future, but you're not choosing it, then it's not wrong. It's not a judgeable offense. Nothing is ever a judgeable offense, but you just want to be present with that. Like, what is that? What is that? I know all those years that I carried debt, I had so much justification in my world for it. Well, I need it. Well, if I don't have the cards, then what happens if I need money? And on and on and on. I probably had I could have wrote 6 books about all my justifications for keeping the credit cards and then keeping to add to them. And that's all it was. It was creating the future that didn't actually work for me financially, except it did in the sense that I continued to choose it. So obviously it did, but really being aware of what justifications are you using to limit what's possible for you? Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and that is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. You can go to theclearingstatement.com for more of how it works. Now, there was a couple other questions in here, and so if you have this space of you've got that energy of what you would like your future to be. This is another question that you can ask. What energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities, so we've really expanded that question, can I be to have all of this come to fruition with total ease? Yeah. So everything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, we destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then another question that I just love, and I highly recommend just writing this down and having it around your house or as a reminder app. What choices do you now have that you've never had before? What choices do you now have that you've never had before? Here's the thing, guys. When you clear points of views, you have more choices than you did when you had those points of views. So every time you clear a point of view, or you choose not to judge, or you just make a different choice that creates greater, you now have more choices available to you than you had before. And this is one of the hugest gifts. My awareness, at least for me, is every time you attend a foundation class, or in my case, facilitate a foundation class, which I think we're probably close to 80 or 90 at this point. I have lost track. But I facilitate them a lot because I love them, and I see what the gift they are on the planet for me as a facilitator and everybody who joins us. But what it does is when you spend 4 days, or in the case of this online foundation, 5 days, so it's 4 hours a day for 5 days, when you spend that much time clearing points of views, you're even clearing points of views you don't even know you had because of all the different discussions going on. When you clear all of that, by the time you're at the end of the foundation, you have 1 billion more choices available to you than before. Because you don't have those same points of views in place. So let's say when you start your foundation class, you have the point of view that money is hard work. I know, I had that for a long time. So I had to work very, very, very hard to ensure that I had the money, and then I had to work harder for more money. Anyway, you get it. So when I changed that point of view, I now had about 1 billion different choices in actualizing money that I had before. When I had the point of view, I had to work hard for the money. Because when you don't have the point of view, you have to work hard for the money. Money literally falls at your feet into your account in lots of different ways. It shows up in so many different ways. And that's just one interesting point of view. So you could imagine when you are going through a foundation class and you're changing point of view after point of view after point of view, that when the class is over, or even throughout the class, you have so many more choices available. You have so much more awareness of the choices that are available. Of course, they're always there. I always had the choice available to me to have money be ease. But it wasn't until I changed the point of view that I had to work hard for money that I was aware of them. So what choices do you have now that you didn't have before we even started this show? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah, so asking yourself that question a lot will also assist you to become so aware of those choices. What choices do you have available now that you've never had before? Anything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, receive them, and choose them. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then the other question in here, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you be that would allow you to create a reality beyond this reality that would create a future you have never known for all eternity? Everything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that again is something I've been so aware of, is that we've lived so many different lifetimes, guys. We have lived trillions and trillions of lifetimes. And now it's about creating a future that has never been here on planet Earth before. Because we've created the others. We've done that. It's old news. Now it's about creating the future that has never been on planet Earth before. And that gets me so excited. Like, truly, what would be possible if we allowed ourselves to create the future that's never been on planet Earth before? Yeah, and what can we be and do different today to actualize that right away? Yeah. How does it get any better, my sweet friends? So this is my invite to you to join me for the online foundation, December 27th to 31st, 2020. And depending when you're listening to this, if it's after those dates, there may be other online foundations. Right now, Access has the deadline for January 1st of 2021 to allow online foundations. So that might be the end of it. Who knows? It really depends on with the pandemic going on and the travel availability and stuff. So Gary just chooses as we get closer to that date. So you can contact me or check it out. But we have links for you to go find out more information. Or if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to track me down. Email info@glenycehughes.com, Facebook Messenger. I've got, of course, Glenyce Hughes, #AsIfByMagic on Facebook. I've got Tools to Create a Better Life on Facebook, Instagram, smoke signals, whatever. However you want to contact me, and I will get back to you. All right, guys, have a wonderful week, and I look forward to chatting again next week.